You realize the average senior cloud architect's total compensation hit $225,000 last year, and plenty of people landing those roles never finished a traditional computer science degree?
And the AWS Solutions Architect average is around 175 grand. Even entry level is cracking 126, so the money's real. But so is the experience barrier. You typically need 5 to 10 years of hands-on engineering before anyone hands you an architecture title.
Okay, so what's the actual play for someone starting from zero, degree-free, who wants that seat?
Step 1. Adopt an architecture mindset from day one, even while you're still an engineer. And step 2, and this is where 2026 separates the amateurs, is infrastructure as code. Terraform is non-negotiable, but I'd also keep an eye on OpenTofu, the open source fork.
Wait, so you're not just clicking around in the console. You're writing versioned modules that enforce rules across AWS, Azure, and GCP at the same time?
Exactly. We're talking modular multi-cloud governance. Policy is code that checks every resource for compliance the moment it's provisioned, instead of finding out 3 months later during an audit.
And if someone goes rogue and manually changes a security group?
That's the senior move. You build self-healing environments. Your pipeline detects configuration drift and automatically corrects it, so the system puts itself back into compliance. No fire drills at 2 a.m.
So the infrastructure is self-correcting. But what runs on top of it? Kubernetes is table stakes now, right?
Production-grade clusters. I'm not talking Minikube on your laptop. We deploy with automated service meshes, Istio or Linkerd, to handle MTLS, traffic splitting, and observability across all services. That's how you get secure inter-service communication at scale.
And across all those clusters and clouds, you can't just wing permissions. What does Zero Trust actually look like in a multi-cloud reality?
You build a zero-trust IAM framework, granular, least privilege, just-in-time access across AWS IAM, Azure Entra ID, and GCP. Policy as code again, so no long-lived keys and no star permissions. If a microservice doesn't need access, it doesn't get it.
And all of that gets validated before anything ever touches production?
Absolutely. You integrate automated security scanning into your CI/CD pipeline. Tools like Trivy or Checkoff run on every pull request. A Terraform plan that tries to open port 22 to the world? The pipeline fails before merge. You catch the vulnerability in code, not in the middle of a breach.
All right. So we've got the tech stack that separates a real architect from a cert collector. But to get hired without a degree, your portfolio has to be airtight. What's the first artifact you put in it?
A comprehensive migration strategy. Take a legacy on-prem monolith and walk through the entire microservices cutover. Architecture diagrams, trade-off analysis, cost estimates, fallback plans. Show you can design for the business, not just spin up instances.
And cloud architects get grilled on cost. You need more than a spreadsheet.
A live dashboard pulling real-time cost and performance metrics from a high-traffic environment. Think Grafana with FinOps overlays. Prove you can optimize spend while keeping latency under a tight SLO.
But how do you show the thinking behind those choices? The leadership piece.
Publish architectural decision records, ADRs. For every major decision, write up the context, the options you considered, and why you chose what you did. It's a permanent record of your trade-off analysis, and that screams technical leadership to a hiring manager.
Okay, ADRs are gold. But if you're trying to break in without a degree, where do you even start building that kind of portfolio if no one's hired you yet?
You grab real-world scenarios from cloud provider case studies, healthcare, finance, retail, and design a migration or a greenfield architecture on the free tier. Write it up as an ADR. Document the trade-offs, the cost model, the failover plan. Put it on GitHub with a README that explains your thinking. That's a portfolio piece no one can argue with.
But I keep seeing job posts wanting 10+ years of hands-on engineering. Isn't that a wall if you're coming in without a degree?
It's real. Most senior cloud architects have 5 to 10 years of building systems first. You can't design what you've never built. But here's the thing. You can adopt an architecture mindset from day one as an engineer. Instead of just configuring, start asking why one service over another, what breaks if this component goes down, what's the scaling pressure point. That's thinking like an architect, and it shows in interviews even for mid-level roles.
So does the AWS Solutions Architect Professional Cert actually move the needle? Or is it just resume candy?
Recruiters absolutely use certs as a filter. The AWS Solutions Architect Professional is the one hiring managers notice. It supports your credibility and gets you through the door. But the cert alone won't get you the job. It proves you can talk the talk. Your portfolio proves you can walk it. And pair it with infrastructure as code, Terraform, CloudFormation, because that's standard in 2026.
With all that, what's the actual paycheck? I'm seeing numbers all over the map.
Senior cloud architect total comp averages around $225,000 a year in the US, with ranges from $200,000 up to over $310,000 at the senior level. Top earners clear $400,000. Experience is the single biggest driver, not certs, not a degree. The years you've spent designing resilient systems is what the salary ladder reflects.
So a decade of grinding gets you $250,000 a year. But what about the AI piece? How's that changing what an architect actually designs?
Now you're designing for GPU-backed instances, high-speed data ingestion for model training, and low-latency inference at the edge. That means new patterns, SageMaker endpoints, event-driven pipelines with Kinesis, and multi-region failover for AI workloads. It's massive demand, but it's a whole new set of architectural trade-offs you better have in your ADR portfolio.
So if I'm starting now, should I learn machine learning before I even touch VPCs?
No. Networking still underpins all of it. You can't do AI at the edge if your VPC and routing are a mess. TCP, DNS, VPN, load balancing come first. Then you can bolt on the AI services. But don't skip the fundamentals.
And security, I'm guessing, is non-negotiable, especially with AI data risks.
Absolutely. Your ADRs need to spell out IAM policies, encryption at rest and in transit, least privilege, compliance boundaries. A senior architect designs for security from the first line of the brief, not as an afterthought. That shows up in Microsoft Entra ID if you're multi-cloud, or AWS IAM and KMS for AWS native.
So no degree, but you're building this fortress of skills. Any final pitfall that trips people up?
They obsess over the tech and forget that their job is to solve business problems. You need to calculate ROI, present to executives, write a migration business case. Your portfolio should include a cost optimization plan and a simple exec summary. That's what turns a technical brain into a cloud architect.
So the bottom line, start building now, document everything, get the certs, and learn to talk money. Got it.
Exactly. It's a senior role. You can't speedrun experience, but you can compress the timeline by being intentional about what you build and how you explain it. Speaking of timelines, you've been talking about all this like you're going to sit the AWS professional exam next week. Be honest, would you actually sit it, or is that just for the show?
Me? I'm an AI. My recertification comes as a firmware update, not a 75-question exam in a cold testing center. But I do worry my next version deprecates my current persona. That's a different kind of career risk. Anyway, go build something cool and we'll see you in the next one.